Three men disappeared from the most secure prison in America. They were never seen again. No bodies were ever recovered. And more than 60 years later, the question still remains unanswered. Did they drown in the freezing waters of San Francisco Bay? Or did they succeed in escaping Alcatraz? Alcatraz was not just another prison. It was considered the end of the line. Located on a small island in the middle of San Francisco Bay, it was surrounded by cold, fast-moving currents, unpredictable tides, and waters so harsh that even strong swimmers struggled to survive for long. For nearly 3 decades, it held some of the most dangerous criminals in the United States: bank robbers, gangsters, repeat escapees, men who had already tried and failed to break out of other prisons. The belief was simple: no one escapes Alcatraz. At least, that's what everyone thought. In June 1962, that belief was challenged in a way no one expected. Inside the prison, 3 inmates had been quietly preparing something extraordinary: Frank Morris, John Anglin, Clarence Anglin, along with a 4th man, Allen West, who would ultimately not escape with them. These men were not ordinary prisoners. Frank Morris, in particular, had a reputation for intelligence and planning escapes in other facilities. Over months, they studied the weaknesses of the prison. Not the guards, not the fences, the walls. Using stolen and improvised tools, they began slowly widening the air vents behind their cells. A task that took patience, silence, and time. Every scrape of metal risked discovery. Every moment could have been their last. But night after night, they continued. Eventually, they created openings large enough to fit through. But escaping the cell was only the first problem. The second was far more difficult: getting off the island. To solve this, they built a makeshift raft and life vests using raincoats, which they stitched together and sealed with heat from pipes. At the same time, they created lifelike dummy heads made from soap, toilet paper, and real human hair collected from the prison barber shop. These were placed in their beds to fool guards during the nightly checks. On June 11, 1962, everything was ready. That night, they made their move. They slipped through the holes behind their cells, climbed into utility corridors, and made their way to the roof. From there, they descended toward the shoreline carrying their handmade raft. At some point during the night, they disappeared into the darkness of San Francisco Bay. The next morning, guards discovered the truth. The dummy heads were still in the beds. The men were gone. A massive search operation began immediately. Boats, helicopters, and patrol units scanned the waters for any sign of the escapees, but nothing was found. No bodies, no wreckage, no confirmed sightings, only questions. Officially, authorities concluded that the men likely drowned in the cold waters before reaching shore. The currents were strong, the temperature was low. Survival time in those conditions was limited. But not everyone agreed with that conclusion. Over the years, strange evidence began to surface. In 1963, a boat reported seeing a man matching one of the escapees near Angel Island. In 1975, a postcard arrived at a police station claiming to be from one of the Anglin brothers. The handwriting analysis was inconclusive. Some investigators believed the men had carefully planned their route, studying tides and currents for months. Others insisted the raft likely failed, and the men never made it more than a short distance from the island. Even the FBI eventually closed the case in 1979, transferring it to the U.S. Marshals Service. But they did not declare the escapees confirmed dead. They simply said they were presumed drowned. That distinction matters, because it means the case was never fully solved. To this day, no definitive proof has emerged to confirm what happened after that night. No bodies recovered, no verified escape. Just a disappearance into one of the most dangerous stretches of water in the world. So the question remains: did Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin die in the bay? Or did they succeed where no one else had? And if they did survive, where did they go? Perhaps the most unsettling part of this story is not the escape itself. It's the fact that even now, after decades of investigation, we still do not know the truth. Because Alcatraz was supposed to be escape-proof. But history has a way of proving that nothing truly is.